going to be talking about some warm-ups, some natural movement warm-ups. One of the first things I like to do in a warm-up is actually challenge my coordination. So here I've just got a rubber ball. I'm just going to throw it up behind my back. And I'm going to see, well, can I do this both sides? Yes. Keep going with that a little bit. And then can I do it with one eye shut? Like, how does that affect my depth perception? And just kind of play around with it. Another thing we can do with the ball is just simply throw it onto the ground and catch it. But with this, it doesn't work so well because I'm on a soft mat. But if you're at home, you've got a ball, you can try this quite nicely. And you can go up and around and up and around. And just try different things with the ball. So with me, I want you to grab a ball and we're going to follow along with this. We're just going to go up, whoa, and up and up. And we'll do this about 3 times on either side. Okay, good. So now we've got our body thinking about movement and it's like, yeah, I want to do something. So now we're going to just go down into a kneeling position. And from here, I simply want you just to move your shoulders in a big circle. We're just going to get those shoulder blades moving up and down and around. You can do this standing up as well if you want, but I'm going to do it kneeling down. Okay, and from here, we're really going to go forward, protracting up, elevating, retracting, depressing, moving those shoulders around. Just tell them, hey, you're about to do some work. Now we want to get the actual shoulder joints moving a little bit more. So take one hand up towards the ceiling and just do it like a backstroke swimming type move. Should be pretty straightforward with getting these things moving. With the hands, we can now think about actually getting the wrists moving. So with the hands, with the wrist, I'm doing this with the wrist. So kind of get those moving, challenge your coordination a little bit. Can you do that both sides at the same time? It's not easy. Okay, going on to coordination now, I want you to put one hand up and one hand down and just start moving the hands round and round. And you'll notice with the warm-up here, I'm not too worried about numbers and sets and reps. I'm just interested in getting the blood going, getting the muscles ready for what they're about to do. Okay, so shoulders feel, for me, a little bit more ready to do something. And now we're going to work on the upper back. And so what I want you to do is put your elbows at shoulder height and just twist around both ways. And what's happening here is we're moving through that thoracic spine, even into the lumbar spine. And you'll see my hips are moving too, so getting those going. Good. Now I want you to try something a little different. I want you to lean to one side. And then, so keep this kind of movement going, but do it from the side here. So I'm going up and down, up and down. And do, when you get to about kind of 5 or 6 movements on one side, then go through to the other side. Now I'm going to do the same thing with a dowel. A dowel, just simply buy one from a hardware store, grab hold of a broom or something like that, throw it onto your shoulders. Now if you don't have one of these right now, just follow along, just doing the thing I was doing before. So lean to the side and then just rotate left and right. What the dowel does is it just stretches out the arms a little bit more and you'll feel it into your rib cage and into your stomach and into your back. And then go the other side. It's almost like I've got a paddle and I'm just kind of paddling backwards and forwards in the imaginary kind of river stream. And then you can actually do both one side then the other. Really get the spine moving, then you can go the other way, forwards and backwards and forwards and backwards. So I'm really reaching forwards and then I'm pulling my imaginary paddle back in the water. Okay, so nice spine, shoulder warm up. I'm going to move down to the hips just a little bit here. I'll move my microphone to the side. Just going up and down. So for some of you, this position might be quite hard to get into, this flat kind of ankle at the beginning. It's okay to put your toes down. Just get more of a stretch into your feet when you do that. So you can alternate, just going up and down. Good, just for fun, in this position, I want to see if you can balance. Do this on something soft, like a cushion. If you're just on the hardwood, this will be a little bit painful. But balance here. Now Keep your feet up off the ground. See if you get your butt down, come back up. Butt down, come back up. And what you'll find here is you'll be doing different compensations. Like I am, my feet hit the ground occasionally. My hands sometimes go down. But it's just getting the muscles used to balancing just a little bit. All right, from here, we want to get some more specific movements into our hips. So what I'm going to get you to do is just to lean backwards onto your hands and just take your knees left and right. And so, interestingly, the concept of a warm-up before movement is very kind of modern, because in a way, if we were in more of a hunter-gatherer society, more in a primitive society, and we were walking through the woods, would we be ready? Would we warm up before we run away from some sort of threat, be it an animal or another tribe or something like that? We would have probably just run. But I understand, though, that if we don't warm up in this modern day and age, we're likely to pull something. But just kind of think, sometimes perhaps we wouldn't warm up. Okay, now, once you've had our 2 feet here like this, I want you to bring them really into this 90-90 position. So 90 here, 90 here. Now what you're going to do is take your hands off the ground and do the same movement going through the hips. And this, for those of you with tight hips, you might need to lean backwards and just keep doing what we were doing. But for those of you who are flexible enough just to keep the hands up and over, I want you to give that a go, okay? So you can see here, I'm trying to keep my back nice and straight. My hip flexibility isn't as good as it could be. But with time, things start to change. Okay, we'll do a couple more either side. That's good. Okay, now we're going to look at how we can take this position to get a little bit more warm up into our shoulders and hips at the same time. So I'm going to put your hands, I want you to put your hands behind you, fingers pointing outwards. Bring your shoulder blades down and back through your chest, and then just lift your hips up. We're going to do about 5 of these. So we call them tabletops. And the idea is that you should be completely flat between your knees, hips, shoulders, head. Try and really bring those shoulder blades down through your back. And you'll notice that your wrists start getting a bit of a warm up there. And so that's a good cue to say, okay, wrists, now it's your turn. So what we're going to do here, put the fingers pointing away from your knees and just load into your wrists and then come back out of that. Load in and out. Turn your fingers pointing outwards, shift your weight side to side, and you can play with where your elbow points. So if I go direct to you, you can see my elbow points towards you, but then it turns in and out as well. So I'm moving side to side, loading up onto my wrists. And the reason we want to load the wrists is when we do some crawling in our workouts, the wrists need to have the flexibility to get here. And today, with all our computer work and sort of fine hand and finger control, we actually tighten up through the forearms quite a lot. And so loosening off the forearms can have amazing effects. Interestingly, when I first started doing this natural movement, I had a wrist pain from my work as an osteopath, and I had that for about 7 years. And just going through this sequence here got rid of the wrist pain that I was experiencing for 7 years, which I thought was going to be there forever. So you can't underestimate the power of just mobilizing. So here what I'm doing is I'm just taking the back of the hand. You've got to do this side of the forearm as well, and I'm putting a little bit of weight here. Now this one is generally more tender than the other way. So take this easy as you do it. But the more you progress, then the more weight you can put into. And then, maybe if you're a superstar, you can end up doing push-ups on the backs of your hands. But that's another time for me. Okay, so here, there's another neat little exercise. If you feel like you wanted a bit more of a challenge, straighten up your elbows, put a bit of weight into your hands, and then see if you can squeeze and make a fist with your fingers. Squeeze and make a fist with your fingers. And that's really going to tighten up through the back there and stretch them out. Last thing I want you to do for the wrists and fingers is actually go up onto this knuckle, put some weight through here and bear down on that first knuckle and then rotate through left and right like this. Rotate through And then you can do both hands at the same time. And you might notice a difference between the two hands. Usually the dominant hand, if you're right-handed, will be stiffer than your non-dominant hand. And that's perfectly okay, just to have a difference between the two hands. I've certainly got a difference. But we have something to work on and try and make the body equal from side to side. Okay, so now we can think about it. We've got our wrists done, we've got our shoulders done, we've got our backs done, hips a little bit more warmed up. So now we're going to go knees and ankles just a little bit here. So a good one is to drop back into that 90-90 position here. And you notice I didn't use my hands when I did that. I just dropped back down in. So that was using my hip muscles. So we're going to do that a few times. So you're going to go up and back down, up and back down. We'll do it 3 times. Last one. And then simply just switch to the other side. And again, just take your hips up and back down. And back down. And back down. And from here, what we can do is we can drop down to that position here, go up, take this back leg up and over, and you end up standing up. And then you reverse that, going back down with control. So we're going to do 3 on either side, okay? So that was 1. Last one here, and then we're going to go to the other side. Okay, then you flip your legs over, face the other way. Back leg comes through, so go up. Back leg comes through, standing up. Back leg goes back down. Oh, sorry, my fault. Inside leg goes down, back leg goes all the way around. That position, up. It's good. So you're simply just reversing the way down when you do this. Okay, good. Check in with yourself. You should feel a little bit more warmed up, ready to go for your workout.